Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Recently, we've been talking a lot about the Verdansk update and the Verdansk return here in Warzone, since it is presumably happening with Season 3, which is only a few weeks away. We've seen several different leaks and rumors surface in regards to the Verdansk update itself, and now it seems we've gotten even more leaks and rumors on what else is coming alongside the Verdansk update that directly correlates to the nostalgia that's there in the original Warzone gameplay, right? We've got some new weapon leaks that are a bit more solidified now, coming from various sources that tease a very cool return to what is almost like the Warzone 1 era in a sense. So as we do dive into all the details here today, quick reminder, if you are new to the channel or maybe you have not subscribed yet, every single day I got you covered with everything you need to know for Call of Duty, whether it is news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns. It's all right here, so feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. And if you enjoy the videos we dive into all these new leaks, a like rating is always seriously appreciated as well. But first up here, we got some new details from Charlie Intel, saying the Grau, my personal all-time favorite weapon in Warzone history, and the HDR weapons are potentially returning to Call of Duty Warzone with Verdansk, per sources. So this is Charlie Intel's own sources. It also just so happens that the Ghost of Hope, another very credible insider and leaker in the community that we've been talking about a lot recently with all the new Verdansk leaks, also mentioned that these two weapons are potentially returning here with Season 3. Now, at the end of the day, this is insider info, and it's coming from very credible sources, and it is leaks. So it's not 100% official. It's not 100% confirmed as of now. Call of Duty, I'm sure, is going to start marketing here very, very soon for Season 3, and we'll start to see more official and credible, bits and pieces drop because it's coming officially from them. So it's 100% there, right? When the time comes, of course, I'll be covering it. But the Grau and the HDR, two of the most iconic weapons in all of Warzone. Obviously, like I said, the Grau being my number one absolute favorite go-to weapon of all time. A lot of you probably know my channel because of the Grau, because we talked about this so much in the meta, and those were some of my best performing videos ever. The HDR, of course, was a day one meta. You remember the thermal meta on the HDR when Warzone first dropped, because you could see all the way across Verdansk with a thermal on there? Another classic option that has an infinite one-shot range, or at least it did back in Warzone 1, so maybe that'll be returning here with Season 3. On top of that, data miners have also found references to the original Rose operator potentially returning as well. Of course, we just talked about this in our general Season 3 leaks video where we had the more ambiguous weapon code names and operator names. Rose was one of those listed, so it's like, okay, there's an operator nicknamed Rose, and we're going back to Verdansk. You're sort of connecting the dots there, right? If this skin comes back, obviously they're going to try and sell it through a new bundle because, why would you get the skin that you paid for a few years back? That would make too much sense. Instead, it's going to make more sense in dollars for Activision because they're going to resell it in a bundle or the premium battle pass or whatever. But apparently the Rose operator coming back as well, in addition to two classic weapons. But that's not all. We've got more details on other OG meta weapons from Warzone 1. The Ghost of Hope ends up initially reporting this. Charlie Intel posts about it, saying there's a possibility, again, just an insider bit of info, a leak or rumor here, that the Kilo, another iconic weapon in Warzone history, and the Amax, maybe the other top tier like GOAT. I mean, everyone's going to have their own subjective opinion. Grau, Amax, Kilo, M4, whatever else, could also be returning to Warzone with Verdansk. But there's no denying that at least these four weapons that we've talked about just now are some of the most iconic, some of the most nostalgic weapons that we've seen in Warzone history. When you think back to Warzone 1 and you think about the go-to weapons, yes, some of you are going to have that little niche answer because you like your own specific playstyle, and there was something that you really enjoyed back then. But if you were to poll, 1,000 people, I'd venture to say the Kilo, the Amax, the Grau are going to be three of the most absolute popular. The HDR is probably going to be up there as well. So we get like a full revisit to some of the original Warzone 1 metas with this. I hope the weapons perform and feel like they did back then, because obviously we had much greater, bullet velocities over range. Rifles seemed a lot more effective over super long distances, especially on Verdansk, than the current metas now, where the velocity is oftentimes a lot between 900 and 1,000 as opposed to 1,200, 1,300, so on and so forth. Low visual recoil on these weapons. The Amax was considered a higher recoil option, and that would be like the AK right now in the current meta. So really curious to see if this is all coming to fruition here with Season 3, how it's fully applied and how these weapons are implemented. But again, that's still not all for these leaks. As we talked about a few days back, and as I mentioned a bit earlier on in this video, we had some very ambiguous weapon code names leaked in the files with Season 2 Reloaded. Reality UK, another leaker, talked about these. We talked about this with our Season 3 leaks video, with different code names in the files. Kent, Gilroy, Pjork, Shuck, Napa, Kenne, and then also Hugo. Those just being code names. Well, other data miners and leakers have gone through, for instance, Vondi is Pog, another leaker that we've talked about on the channel here, talking about in more detail what these code names likely are referencing. So Vondi initially says here, based on the Grau 556 and HDR being among these, and the following assumption that all the weapons are both either A, Warzone nostalgia weapons, and B, 90s period appropriates. These are my assumptions, keyword just assumptions, but obviously familiar with these leaks and the code names for what each weapon is. So Bondi goes through and says, for Kent, the H&K G41, a more period-appropriate version of the HK433, which appeared as the Kilo in Modern Warfare 2019. So maybe the Kilo is not going to be a one-to-one copy, although I think that's what most people would be looking for, but it could be an alternate version, essentially, of the Kilo 141. Gilroy, Grau 556, the real name's the SIG SG552 from Modern Warfare 2019. Of course, that one seems a bit more obvious here, of course. The Shuck SMG could be the Milano 821 from Black Ops Cold War, of course. That was another iconic option back during Warzone 1. Obviously, we had like the Axial Arms 3 times like AR version of the Milano that was meta for some time. It was a decent SMG throughout as well. So the Milano could be coming back. I will say though, that's kind of interesting considering like the Tanto performs incredibly similar to the Milano as is. So you kind of have two of the same weapon if that's the case. Anyways, Bondi also says HDR, fictional weapon from Modern Warfare 2019. That's going to be the Hugo sniper that is reportedly in the files. The Pjork is the Magnum, supposedly, a modified general version of the Colt Python from Cold War, where the attachment system on it was hilariously goofy, but Magnum, again, could potentially be returning here. This is one we don't currently have a version of within Black Ops 6. Then Napa for the special weapon, the nail gun, obviously an option that we've seen in a lot of different Black Ops iterations. Wouldn't be surprised at all if this does end up coming to fruition as well. Then we have the Kenne, which could be the Cali sticks from Modern Warfare 2019. Again, you look back to classic Warzone 1 gameplay, another thing that was up there was the Cali sticks. They were so annoying to run into, but also hilariously fun to run because you had crazy movement speed and those things could lunge and swing fast. There was a whole ongoing conversation. Should we ban Cali sticks? Should they be removed? Is this melee too overpowered, right? Which typically is not a scenario you find yourself in, but nonetheless, it does seem like alongside the return of Verdansk, we could have a pretty significant classic or OG weapons update as well. Again, this is all just leaks and rumors as of now, and in the coming days and weeks, we should start to see the official reveals for Season 3. That'll include teasers for Verdansk in the form of images, trailers, and instead trailers, and maybe even the images too for the key art and stuff. We might be able to spot some of these classic weapons, and that'll be a confirmation in and of itself that these are returning. Then we'll eventually get full-on blog details, a roadmap for Season 3 in just a couple of weeks' time, so we'll be able to break down everything officially and have the guaranteed confirmation, okay, this rifle, this SMG are returning, and we'll have the full-on info there. So stay tuned for that alongside everything else in COD by hitting that subscribe button and turning on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed this video, a like rating on your way out would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.